let's kick it off. We got over 50 people. That's usually the let's start mark.
Yeah.
And we're off and running. Okay. So Nick came out flying. He's throwing lefts. He's throwing rights. He's coming out of his corner. He's all fired up AI wise. So let me ask you this. Talk to me like a third grader. All right. Talk to me like a third grader. Where do I start? What do I do? I think a lot of people understand all the hype around AI and how important it is. But where do I start? Most people have the fear of starting, right?
Yeah.
The fear of, I don't know what I'm doing, or I don't know if I'm going to do it right. Where do they start?
So I think to me, like everything, I'll get into where to start with AI, but I think with everything, it starts up here. I think it all starts in your mindset and really understanding how big and what what we're dealing with is here. And actually, can I share my screen? I have there's a couple of slides that come to mind, and great. I love the interview format. So this is what comes to mind to me. It's understanding that, guys, history is repeating itself right now. If I gave everybody here in this mastermind an opportunity with a time machine, you can go back in time and you could tell yourself right when the internet started, how big the internet's going to be, what's going to be happening with it, what you should be doing next. Everybody here would take that opportunity, right? And here's what was going on when the internet first came out. Guys, these are real headlines, real newspaper headlines. I know, newspaper, right? Real newspaper headlines that were coming out when the internet first came out. Internet might just be a passing fad as millions give up on it. Here's some of my favorite ones over here. Computer virus spreads to humans. Oh no. Hackers can turn your home computer into a bomb and blow your family to smithereens. This is what people were saying about AI when it first came out. It's a passing fad. It's dangerous. You don't know what's going to be happening with the internet. It's the same thing that's happening with AI. People are saying the same stuff. Killer computers, robots stealing your job. Everything's going to end, blah. But here's the reality, guys. If you give yourself a time machine to go back and tell yourself how big AI was or how big the internet was going to be, every single person here would take it. And if not, you're an idiot. Let's be honest. If you can go back and tell yourself how big the internet was going to be, boom, you can be multimillionaires. You can be ahead of the curve. You can be doing all these things. This is history repeating itself. Think about what people are saying about AI. Oh, the end of the world is here. Well, if that's a reality, none of us are going to be around anyways. Get your I told you so's in now. The reality is this, guys. AI has been around for 70 years. 70. It's been around for 70 years. And the people with money and power have had it for that time. If they're going to end the world, it was already going to happen. But the reality is this, it just became public access 8 months ago. The biggest companies in the world have been using it to stay in front of you all the time. So with AI, like you were saying, where do you start? You got to start by just understanding how big this opportunity is and that this is an opportunity. I know on social media, I know online, opportunities and the next biggest thing seems to come out every single day, right? I've been seeing ads about the next biggest thing for the last 10 years. But AI is different. AI is different. Artificial intelligence isn't some program that somebody created, some course that somebody created. Artificial intelligence, guys, it works 125,000 times faster than the human brain. And AI is going to be more like the internet than it is going to be like social media, right? Because I see these three getting pushed in the same bucket a lot. See, the internet, when the internet comes out, changes everything. Imagine going into one of your clients' home and saying, oh yeah, you know that internet thing? Oh, I don't use that. They look at you like you're crazy. Like, what do you mean you don't use the internet? You probably couldn't even be in this business if you weren't using the internet. Artificial intelligence is going to be the same way. Imagine, I believe in the next 2 years, you're going to walk into someone's house and they're going to be like, wait, so you don't use that tool that works 125,000 times faster than the human brain? Like, yeah, I'm going to go with this agent who does. With social media, look, you can get by without social media. I'm not recommending you do. It does help your business, but you can get by without it. AI is a once in a generation opportunity that we are in the middle of right now. And the reality is this, guys, choose to learn it now or be forced to do it later. Because the reality is this, I got another slide I'm going to share with you guys right here. Oh, nobody wants to see my text messages. Where is this one at? Here's this one. This is the big one. This, to me, is one of the most important slides. Here's what happens. Public concern is on the left, right? And then over time, people were scared. Right here's when you saw the Terminator memes, right? Terminator memes are coming out. It's the end of the world. AI is here. And then we're starting to get to the height of hysteria. I believe we're actually over this now. I got to update this slide. We're over this now. By the time we get to here, the point of practicality, where people aren't really afraid of AI anymore. It's just like the internet. Everybody uses it. You see it every day. Businesses are using it. By the time we get here, and if you're not using it yet, you're going to be pushed out of the industry. Because AI is not going to replace agents, but the agent who uses AI will replace the agent who doesn't. So I think first, the place to start is just understanding that, man, this is a big opportunity. And there's always that anxiety that comes with it too, right? Because it's like, all right, I know it's a big opportunity. Where do I start? How do I start? Where do I get started? Like, how do I learn? So the next part of this question too is like, all right, now that we're starting to get into the right mindset, I believe the first place to get started is truly learning how to train your Chat GPT. Look, I get it. There is a lot of different AI tools out there. You get like a lot of different AI tools, but understanding the principle, because I believe understanding the principle of how these AI tools work is important. You have to train your Chat GPT to do the things that you want it to do, right? Like my Chat GPT is trained to do things, doesn't mean yours is trained to do things. I believe first getting started, just to understanding how these tools work, ChatGPT is really simple to use. And on top of that too, here's a great example. Has anybody seen those listing descriptions? Like write your listing descriptions here, and it's like an AI tool for you, right? Here's the reality of this, guys. There aren't new like ChatGPTs. People aren't spending billions of dollars to create their own AI, right? This company that came out with write your listings descriptions here, it's not its own AI. It's basically code written on top of ChatGPT. They trained their ChatGPT to do one thing, write listing descriptions, coded it to make it a whole website, and now you're using a fraction, a little piece of ChatGPT, and you're paying more for it than just learning how to use ChatGPT yourself, right? So like, write your listing descriptions here. All of a sudden, you're paying $40 a month that if you trained your ChatGPT to do it, you could have it for life and be more in control of it. And then guess what? And then the next company tells you, write your ads here, write your ads, write your copy, write your emails, buy my AI tool. It's basically buy my fraction of ChatGPT. No, buy my fraction of ChatGPT. No, buy my fraction of ChatGPT. But if you learn how to train it and just understand the key concept, man, your life becomes infinitely easier. So I can get in some training aspects, but I think I know you have some other questions here. So that's what I would say. To get started, just understanding first, you want to learn how to train it. And here's one piece that I'll give you on the training, which I think is really important. The first thing before you even dive into ChatGPT, guys, that you're going to want to do is right here on the bottom left. You see these 3 dots. What do they call it? Like the hamburger or something, right? The 3 dots. And you're going to go to custom instructions. Here is the most important, to me, one of the most important parts of training to make sure that it writes like you, it sounds like you. Right here. What would you like ChatGPT to know about you to provide better responses? So literally, I inserted my bio and some other key things in here. So now every time it's writing as if it were me. It's using my key differentiating factors. It's using the fact we've been published in Forbes and Fox and USA Today for the work we're doing. Why? Because I think that stuff's important. Why wouldn't I want it in my writing? So now my ChatGPT, this is just a simple part of the training, is trained to speak as if it was like me. And I think just understand that one key concept, and I can get more in depth on specific ways to train it, creating your ideal client profile in your ChatGPT, which I believe is one of the most important parts of this. So that's where I would get started. First, understand how big the opportunity is. And second, just understand the basic principles of training your ChatGPT.
Hey, Nick, I know there's been a lot of talk about ChatGPT, Claude, all these other ones. Are they all pretty similar, or what are the differences?
I think they're all pretty similar, but here's the way I look at it. Let's see. I like asking questions. My man Cam is unmuted, so I'll ask Cam. Hey, Cam, do you think Lyft will ever overtake Uber? Like Lyft ever become bigger than Uber?
Yeah, they're very similar, right? I think Lyft is obviously smaller, like Coke and Pepsi, right?
Right, exactly. And it's one of those where, look, ChatGPT was first to market. It became the fastest growing AI tool, fastest growing apps in history by far, and it wasn't even close. So to me, it's who's going to be getting more money, who's going to be able to stay ahead of the curve. What does everybody already know? I like using things that people know and they're comfortable with. So that way, part of what we do too. So we created the world's first ever AI certified agent program, right? Where we certify agents. We also, during that process, we have the AI certified listing presentation where you actually show your client, you sit down with them and their minds explode with what you're able to show them. To me, it's if I had to sit there and explain to them what Claude is, I'm already losing time and I'm losing authority. But a ChatGPT, the entire world knows what it is. So when I'm using it, it adds familiarity and authority to it. They are pretty similar. I mean, they can do different things and you're going to know slight differences. But here's the reality, guys. Here's the reality. And I'm glad that you asked this question. Look, guys, we're like, you guys are real estate agents. Is anybody on here solely an AI tech expert? Then those little freaking differences that you're reading about aren't going to affect you at all, really. Like a lot of times it's like, ooh, look at all these features. They could do this, this, and this. I'm like, yeah, you shouldn't even learn any of that. Like stay focused, like get in, get it, and get out. Like I'll never forget. I remember I was working with a guy named Jay Kinder. They're like, that was one of my first big clients. I was super excited, right? Wasn't even getting, like, we were getting paid just a little bit, but I just wanted to prove ourselves to him. So he gave us this task to work on his YouTube channel and we figured it out, right? And then me and my brother, we come back, you can see me, we come back firing, telling him all the things we did to fix it. And he's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Do I need to know this for it to work? I'm like, no. He's like, then just give me the minimal effective dose. What's the smallest amount I need to know to be effective with this, right? So look, if you're already using Claude and you're comfortable with it, continue to use it. But I would recommend ChatGPT. It's the one that everybody knows. It's the one that you won't have to explain to anybody ever what ChatGPT is. Right? When people see you using it, you already have a built-in authority that is ChatGPT, and they are pretty similar in usage. So no, that's a great question.
Okay, so let's kick this off. I'm going to go right to Cam because he was on here first and he's rocking and rolling. Cam, what questions do you have for Nick when it comes to AI? I know you have kind of a good solid base on this, and you're pretty tech savvy, so go ahead.
So yeah, man, I'll first off, I'm definitely not an AI expert. I just like, reading and learning and clicking buttons. And I think that's one of the things that is like Nick was just saying, is that ChatGPT obviously is the original. It's very simplified to use, and it's also pretty simple to customize, right?
Yeah.
I don't think there's one way or another that you should go. Just get into it, get learning about it, and you'll find that once you learn once you learn about it, it's going to kind of go back and forth. It's just like, for example, if you learn how to say edit photos, you can pretty much work through most editing programs once you kind of get the basis on how it goes. So Nick, what would you say for everyone? I know the most valuable thing is what would you say for the average realtor, right? The just normal realtor that hasn't used ChatGPT at all? I obviously the kind of the nugget you gave there earlier was awesome. How you kind of train it to talk about you, but can you break down some of the basic stuff that you kind of advise people and kind of, we're all about value. So I'd love to show off some of the things that are real basic, but they're also really valuable.
Man, that is a great question, Cam. I appreciate you asking it too. And at first, like that is a great question because it's the simple, right? Because at the end of the day, did anybody in real estate get in real estate to become a tech guru? No, but we've been forced into this, right? So something that my company kind of, like, I kid you not, we would send my trainings to like my 80-year-old grandma because I'd ask her, like, can you do our trainings? And if she told us no, I try to make it simpler because I want my grandma to be able to do it because I know you guys aren't trying to figure all these things out and get techie. And I can't tell you how many courses I bought where I bought the course and I learned nothing. And I got more confused. I'm like, that's not the reason I paid you. But here is where I would get started, right? The very first thing I would do, because I believe it would be one of the most utilized things in your program, and it's the number one place any marketer starts. First, we have to understand a concept. It's not always the best agent who wins, it's the best marketer. How you can clearly market yourself different from everybody else. Because remember, guys, value unarticulated is value unappreciated. If you can't clearly articulate what makes you valuable and different than anybody else, well, then you are just like everybody else. But here's what I would do for the marketing aspect first. It's called creating your ideal client profile. So you'd want to create your ideal client profile within ChatGPT. So this is where the biggest marketing companies in the world, they rock at this. They create their ideal client profile. And here's a great example of this. Has anybody here been to the Taylor Swift concert? Don't be afraid. You can raise your hand. No, the Taylor Swift concert, but we all know what's going on, right? People are paying literally over $10,000 to go to this girl's show. People pay over $10,000 to go hear Taylor Swift sing about her ex-boyfriends. I'm not hating on her. She has great music, but it's the reality. That's what you pay. You go here. She has a great concert. Imagine if people paid $10,000 and she just decided to switch to heavy metal overnight. They'd be pissed. They'd be furious. Like, this is not what I'm tuning in for. So when it comes down to marketing, lead gen, creating content, one of the most important things is to identify your target audience, right? Who am I marketing to? Because if you market to everybody, you market to nobody. So let's say, like, but you said keep it simple, Cam, right? Let's bring it back. Here's the best way to keep it simple. First, identify 3 target audiences, not 5, not 10, not 20, 3. You want to say who they are. A millennial first-time home buyer. Example, right? Be very specific. A millennial first-time home buyer in Sarasota, Florida, looking for their forever home. All right? You want to be that specific. Don't just say, all right, buyers. Screw that. Like, you're nobody. Millennial first-time home buyer, you know, like downsizing, whatever. Be very specific with who your target audience is and only pick 3. Don't go crazy and create 20. Like, oh, I'm starting to think I'm getting creative. No, look, sometimes the simplest things are the best. So you have 3 ideal client profiles. And I'm going to give you just a couple prompts that you want to insert into ChatGPT. We have a list of about 15 to create our ideal client profiles. But here's what you want to do. First, what are the goals of a millennial first-time home buyer looking for their forever home in Sarasota, Florida, right? So what are the goals? And you want to, and then it'll label all the goals of what they're looking to do. Next, what are the fears? What are the goals? What are the fears? Next, what are the motivations? Goals, fears, motivations. Here's one of my favorite ones. What's the internal dialogue? So I'll give you that bonus 4th one. What's an internal dialogue? And then it'll label each one of these. All right. And then write me a journal entry using the goals, fears, motivations, and internal dialogue above. Then you want to tell it to write a journal entry because then it summarizes all of it.
Are you able to show this, Nick? Like, show it actually?
You know what, Randy? I think that's a great idea.
How about we just show it for people that haven't even opened up ChatGPT?
All right. So for the people who haven't opened up ChatGPT, welcome. This is ChatGPT. I will be your host, Nick Krem, walking you through this here today. All right. So guys, basic concept, first part of this, pay for the upgraded version. You know what? That's the best place to start. Buy the upgraded version, guys. It's like $10 a month. I don't know. Don't quote me on that, but it's not more than 20. I can tell you that. The reality is this. You guys remember dial-up internet? I know I'm the younger one on the call, but you guys remember dial-up internet, right? I go like, dial it, take all that time. But then when you went to the regular internet, you're like, wow, this goes so much faster. And then we have high speed now. Here's the reality. Regular ChatGPT without paid is like dial-up. Like once you use ChatGPT 4, you can't go back. It's faster, it has better information, and it's just beyond like a lot better. So first, you want to get the upgraded version. Next, you want to open up a new chat. So guys, remember when I was talking about individually training your ChatGPT, right? First, you want to get your custom instructions. Boom, I got my custom instructions here. Here's a great point. Each chat starts over from scratch, right? Each chat basically starts over from scratch. So when I open up a new chat, it's like a fresh ChatGPT for me. So you want to open up a new chat, and here's what you want to do. What are the goals of a first-time millennial? And there's a faster way to do this, but I'll show you the simple way. Home buyer, Sarasota, Florida. All right. First-time millennial home buyer.
Unreal.
Look at this stuff. So it's literally going over all the goals.
So, hey, Nick, so if I wrote the exact same sentence, would I be getting spit out the same answers?
If you wrote the exact same, I would not always know. Like it'll be very damn similar. It's not like the same exact thing, but no, you won't get it. You won't get the same exact thing. Might be a little bit different. It's generative AI. It does have some thinking and things on the back end itself. The simple answer is not exactly, but pretty damn similar. It's pretty
Okay.
much- yeah.
Nick,
Well-
would that also be based on both of your bios that were in there as well, would be a little different?
A little bit of the bio, yes, that's part of it. And then it's also generative AI. So it's not like it goes and pulls from the same source. It like generates the information on the spot. What are the fears? First time millennial home buyer in Sarasota, Florida. So then you go to the fears.
It always corrects your spelling to the right one, I noticed.
So notice it's financial investment first, and then financial concerns. So now it's the concerns, the commitment, flexibility. All right.
So cool. And
Well,
Nick, what you don't know is Cam Smith behind the scenes wrote all this for ChatGPT.
That's
Right.
it, you guys. I'm over here typing as fast as I can.
What is that? What is that? Like a Bruce Almighty? You know, Bruce Almighty when his fingers are going really
Yeah.
fast. Yeah. All right.
He's got a chip in his head. He doesn't even have to type. He just thinks about it and it spits it out. Look,
So guys, so like going through this, I create like, I'm not going to go through each one, but like goals and fears. You see how this labels it out. You have to think about this. The best marketing companies in the world know what you want to do before you even do it. They know what you want before you even know it. When it comes to marketing and real estate, I get it. Before AI, I'll give most agents, if not all of them, a pass for not posting as much as you should have, for not emailing as much as you should have. Because most marketing companies, they don't really know your ideal clients. They don't know your marketplace. So they give you generic ass marketing. If you're a buyer looking for homes, here are 3 things you need to do, 3 things you need to do to sell your home faster. And it sucks. So if you didn't want to pay for marketing like that and you didn't use it, or you're using it didn't work, I give you a pass for not utilizing it. And if you're a busy real estate agent, you don't have time to sit here and think goals, fears, motivations, who's my ideal client profile, right? Like it was hard. Now it's simple.
hey, Nick, for fun, can you put the internal dialogue? I would love to see kind of what it spits out.
Bart, what is the internal dialogue of a first-time home? I know I'm right on the spot trying to type good. First-time home buyer and first-time millennial.
Millennial. Yeah.
Sorry. I'm doing good. There, first-time millennial home buyer in Sarasota, Florida. Oh,
Complex, can be quite complex. Okay, yeah.
right.
Is now the right time for me to buy? I've been saying for a while, but I do.
Guys,
I have
yes.
enough for a down payment and closing costs. This is great. Renting
And look
feels-
at this, guys. Yeah, dude. Sorry, Randy. Go ahead, Randy.
No, keep going. This is great.
Everybody always says, like, what are my video topics? What ideas should I shoot? The internal dialogues, the best videos, the best marketing is tapping into what your ideal client is thinking. When you create a video for everybody, you create a video for nobody. I'll say that again. When you create content for everybody, you create content for nobody. Why? Because it's boring. It doesn't hit their emotions. Basic rule of marketing: people are sold on emotion and justified with logic, right? Here's a great example. Your competition on social media. Everybody thinks their competition on social media is other real estate agents, this or that. Your competition on social media, guys, is booties and babies, right? So on Instagram, it's the Instagram models posting their you know what all over there. And on Facebook, it's babies. It's more of a family platform. That's what you're competing against. So if you think your video is going to be, here are 3 ways to sell your home faster, you just bored me even more, right? People go to social media because they're lazy and bored. So you need to be able to speak to your ideal client profiles, internal dialogue. What are they thinking? What's keeping them up at night? And like I said, before AI, I get it. It's hard to come up with those ideas. It's hard to come up with scripts. It's hard to constantly think, who's my ideal client profile? What are they doing? What are they thinking? What are their goals? It's damn near impossible. But now with AI, guys, your chat GPT can be fully trained on exactly who you are looking to speak to and create content exactly for them if you train it right.
So now that you did this, Nick, there's a flow of this. What I don't know. What do you call this? You said the chat. Okay, this is a
So
chat.
this is called a chain, CHAIN, a chain. It's a chain within ChatGPT. So
Okay.
guys, so millennial homebuyer, see? So on the top left, you'll see every time I come back to my millennial homebuyer, this chat is only trained to speak to millennial homebuyers. Now, right? Now, like, and again, I can go deeper into this. Give me the fears, goals. What will happen if they don't hit their goal? What will happen when they do hit their goal? And go deep into creating an ideal client. You want to go as deep as you can first. Now, write me a 5 email sequence. And guys, if you guys here's another key thing. If you guys are writing emails or text or any campaigns, this word right here is the most important one. Sequence. Write me a 5 email sequence.
Got it. So it's
So-
connect the dots kind of.
Correct. Now write me a 5 email sequence using the goals and internal dialogues above. Use some humor, right? Like Dan Kennedy. I like Dan Kennedy. Can't spell his name though.
That's so good.
At least 200 words each. Here we go. Use humor. Hey, commitment foe. Ready to
Hey,
swipe right on a house? Come on, guys.
Oh my god, that's so
Yeah,
good.
here's the reality. Your goal is to get people to open your emails.
Hey, future homeowner. Like, oh man, that's like
The bank won't break you, but
NLP
your
right
landlord might. Come on, guys.
bank won't break
Hey,
you.
money bags. You're no Elon Musk, but you've saved up a pretty penny, haven't you? Like, look. All right, so here you go. Location, or at least how to avoid next to landfill. Hey, aspiring local, let's get to the chase. But again, I trained it who I'm speaking to first, right? Here's the biggest mistake people make. They go into ChatGPT, hey, write me emails for buyers. Oh my God, it's so quick, it's working. Yes, woo. And it's shit. It is not good. Guys, do not mistake speed for quality. Do not mistake speed for quality. It is all about how you train it. So you want to train it to do these things first. Here's my favorite part about this. Once you train it once, you never have to retrain it again. It's not like the admin that you hired that 2 weeks later, you go back, you're like, you're not doing anything I trained you to do, right? This stays trained. This chat right here will always be trained for millennial home buyers. Always. Look at that. Welcome to paradise, also known as Sarasota. Very true. The final frontier. And then you literally just copy and paste the subject. Boom.
Wow, this is awesome.
So guys, that's one way, again, training it for your ideal client. Cam, the long answer to the simple question of what's the first place to get started. But I think this is the best one, because here's the reality, guys. Once I train it for first-time millennial homebuyers, now I can go in here and say, now write me 5 Facebook posts. Now write me 6 emails. Now write me a lead generation campaign. Now write me this. Why? Because it is trained to speak to exactly who I'm looking for, which is the hardest thing to do in marketing. So that's where I would get started. I know it might seem a little bit longer, but it is simple, because once you train it once, now you just get to keep going back in there and asking it over and over again.
So Nick, I would love to hear from someone like Brian, who's been in this business for, I don't know, 35, 40 years. And now this new era is coming, right? And I know you and technology are sometimes good friends, sometimes you're not. What are you thinking like about all this, Brian?
I'm thinking a lot of things, obviously. Number one, I have to watch this back twice as much as the rest of you to understand it. But I have already played with it since our last meeting, and I compared a couple of the ones to ChatGPT like Claude, because I do some training, Nick, and one of the questions I asked was some of the training questions I have, and it rewrote them in great new ways where you might ask the same exact question I'm asking, but phrase it differently. Right. And it gave me several versions that would communicate it better based on the age of the person. So at my age, I might just ask, hey, that's a great question. What are you considering doing, buying or selling? Well, when I asked that's a great question. What are you considering doing? It rewrote that. It made it longer. I have to learn how to condense them and do it and replay with it. But it gave me some beautiful responses in such a way that you might ask the same exact question I would ask, because I might ask it with confidence and I'm just bold and I've been doing this so long. I'm just going to stare at the client and ask them a direct question. Where is, if you don't have the experience, you feel uncomfortable asking a certain question. So it rephrases it for you. So as I train, you can go home, use the dialogue and rewrite your own scripts that sound like what I'm trying to convey, but it would come out naturally the way you would say it. I love that.
Yeah, Brian, I love that too. And like you said, it takes some of the creative thinking away, but just a quick thing, Brian, you can tell it exactly how long you want it to be. So you can tell it how many words or characters. So that way you don't have to ask it to keep writing it shorter. Hey, make this less than 200 words, 100 words.
Yeah. Yeah, I copied and paste the one I liked the best. And I said, shorten this to one sentence, and boom, it did it. Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it was like short, sweet, easy to take a note on, internalize it, and then own it. Because the goal is to own and internalize your scripts so they sound natural. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to create natural flowing scripts the way I would say them, and just keep whittling it down to it was like super short and sweet. Perfect.
So what I heard is, like, for example, Brian can take his, or not Brian, one of his realtor students, let's call it, can take Brian's question and put it into the millennial chat and say, what's another way of saying this to this audience? Right, as an example. Is that?
Yeah, that's an example.
Because that will change it to not only who the audience is, right, which in this case is the millennial buyer in Sarasota, but also to who the author is of asking, which in that case could be another young realtor that is going to have a little bit of a different dialogue than Brian.
Yeah,
right?
You know,
based on the custom description of who that agent is that they inputted. Is that kind of the way you understand, the way I understand it?
Yeah, so this chat, the chat that we just went into, that is only trained for millennial first-time home buyers. So you can take information here and ask it to write towards that audience that you created. And I always ask, I don't ever ask you to do one way. I always say, give me 5. I always say, give me 5, because I don't know why. I always choose like the second or third. It's never the first one they come up with. I always tell them, like, give me 5, because now I think the big thing to understand with this is they can do a lot of the thinking for us. If you sat down all day or all week and only thought about that subject, you could probably come up with that many answers, come up with all these things, but why? You have a tool that can do it now. So yeah, that is the way that you can use Randy.
Brian, is there a question that you want to have Nick rephrase for you for the millennial buyer?
I can't think of one off the top of my head, but he could use that one. When somebody says, how's the market? You could say, hey, that's a great question. It really considers on what you're thinking about doing.
Yeah.
What it says.
Nick, I actually have a question for you. And it's unrelated to that. If you guys want to think about a good script or question there. One of the things, obviously, using ChatGPT, you copy and paste a lot, right? What's the best way to get the formatting out of ChatGPT without having the background? Maybe this is a super beginner one, but just a question. I've never had the answer to that.
Man, I'll tell you what, Cam, you are absolutely right. It's one of those things. Once I figured out, I'm like, man, it's a great question that everybody has, but like once I show you, you're gonna be kicking yourself, right? All right, so I should probably share my screen, right? So I just opened up my Google Docs, but we'll watch this. So let's see, from here, I'm gonna copy this, right? I just do Command copy, but then I right click and then paste without formatting. So you
okay.
Instead of pasting,
is there any way though to keep the formatting? So if you want like the bullet points, or you want the numbers, or because you with ChatGPT you can do spreadsheets. I mean, I've seen some cool stuff be done with it, but you don't want the background. So I don't know if that's even possible. So again, this was just an exploratory question. You guys don't shoot the messenger. Because it would be cool to have the bold and the stuff like that.
Right. Let me see.
You don't have to go back and then change all of that, you're saying, right, Cam? Yeah.
Exactly. So I love the fact, obviously, ChatGPT, which we haven't talked about really, but I mean, it can do spreadsheets. It can do amazing things, you guys. And he's already shown us that's really cool. But then obviously when you try to paste it into a document for like a PDF, I've always had the trouble of then it reverts back to being all ugly. It doesn't look right. So that was just a question I've always wondered. And since the AI expert's here, I
So let's see. So
figured
this
I'd ask.
labeled 1, 2, 3, 4. I think without formatting might let's see what we can do here.
All right.
I don't know. Let's see. I don't know. Actually, that is a good question.
I don't know if it's even possible. So that's why I asked, because I haven't looked into it. I mean, I did a little bit, but it wasn't like Googleable really quickly. So
Let me do this. That's a great question. I'm going to ask. I got a research and development department. I'm just going to put that in there.
cool.
Can you copy? Paste.
Now, Bobby or Craig, do you guys have any AI questions? I know you guys are using it a little bit, or actually, I know Bobby, you're using it quite a bit.
It's as I sit here, I'm just like, holy crap, like you don't even need your own brain really anymore. I mean, you could tell everyone should have ChatGPT on a separate monitor, and it really should just be there all day long, side by side you. The level of the biggest thing that worries me is oversaturation of content, especially realtor content. I could see Facebook, Instagram just getting hammered all day long as realtors just completely oversaturate their own videos and chopping up things. So there are a few things to worry about, but at the same time, this is the opportunity that everybody can go through and change your mission statement. You could write reviews for every single past client you ever freaking helped. All you got to do is create this profile. And so hey Pete, and are we charging people for this training? Holy shit, this is some great stuff, man. Like seriously, Nick, I would love to just follow you around for a few days. Your energy is insane.
Thank you, Bobby. Yeah, go ahead.
But the first thing I would say is, or the question I have is, when can I automate my grocery purchases? I want a personal assistant telling me what to do every day. Maybe give a little light on some of the personal stuff that we can have done for us on totally automated system.
Bobby, wish I could. I do not have that information. Can't get into that. The personal side, we've been focusing solely on real estate. I could give you a guess, but I'm not the expert on that one.
So I have to rely on my wife, is what you're telling me. Okay, good.
Yeah, and I have to get one. No.
The other question I have is, I want to really focus on data-driven type of AI stuff that is going to tell me or predict when someone is ready to sell. Do you know of any way to kind of use AI to find out that kind of information?
Yes, but we want to be able to cover it here on this call. You
Okay.
can't within ChatGPT, and there's some courses I can recommend that go into that as well.
Okay.
We're dabbling in like creating our own on that aspect as well. But what I would say is yes, but here's the reality with this. So I think that is a fantastic question, Bobby, because I keep seeing that pop up, right? And I see ads that pop up. Oh, someone's going to sell before they even do it with their new AI analytics. It's pretty good, but the reality is this: they're guessing based on the data and the analytics, and you can reach out to them. But here's my thing is, if you just take over your marketplace, with your marketing, you're going to get those people anyways. Can you highly target them even more? Yes, but you're just paying for a giant lead source, just like you're paying for leads from anywhere else. So it's like, to me, it's not really different types of leads. If anything, I'm like, man, the point of getting leads is getting people who are ready right now. Don't tell me who's going to be ready in 2 years. So I think it is a great question, and it's something I see popping up a lot about AI, about the analytics, figuring out people who are going to sell. Personally, I haven't delved into it as much. I've got some people who have, and I'm not as impressed as what I think I will be in about 6 months to a year from now, is what I'm guessing. So that's the short of it. There are places I can show you on that as well.
There's software for that that's probably a lot more advanced to do that than ChatGPT right now, because it's pulling from different public records and different things like that maybe ChatGPT is not accessible yet. Doesn't have that.
Yeah, and I'm just not too impressed with what I've seen. I've seen the companies and the big ones that have done it. They showed me on the back end what they have, and I smiled and waved, right? Like, It's good. Yeah. But I think that's a great question because I see it a lot. I'm seeing it pop up like a lot of different places, and I'm just not true. I'm not sold on that one yet. Yeah, great question.
Brian, you have a question?
I don't think you had enough coffee this morning, Nick. You might want to take another espresso.
I don't drink coffee.
Oh, you don't?
I don't drink coffee.
Oh, yeah, I need to know what you're doing with your energy.
And you should see what he's like at 7 o'clock at night when we're on our Zoom calls. He's still fired up.
And listen, Lurch, you're the OG. What questions do you have for Nick?
I was just gonna say, you know what? From a guy who comes from Philly who doesn't speak eloquently, this stuff really makes me look great. Because I was never an overachiever in school. I played hard and got street smart. But I know through my virtual assistant, Vona, who's actually in here watching, she comes up with things. She spilled a lot of things in here. And I'm like, how did she write that? It sounds like me, but she did it, which is amazing because she's trained our Chat GPT, SML, USC, whatever you call it. Remember, I'm the ROG. I don't know this. I look for the A button, but it really does do it. And I'm even more excited about this. I'll be honest with you, Nick. I've been using the free. While we're on here, I just texted her. I said, you better buy that damn $20 thing now. I said, you got the credit card to get it done.
Yeah.
I am so excited to take this and use it because I've learned a lot of social media. I've been working on a lot of social media, but when we talk about social media, we talk about what's in our head.
Yep.
And this will help us think about what's in their internal head,
Yes.
which is going to make the light hang on and make them want to be more around you because you're not thinking about what's about us, it's about them. And that is the cool part. This thinks outside of our head about them, not us thinking about them. This already has the answer. We're not guessing what the answer is. So I'm literally going to live in curiosity instead of judgment anymore and know that this is the place to go to. I'm going to ask the question. I can't wait to figure out. I might even ask what I should have for dinner and see what it says and start posting things. What, and start having fun with it. So thank you. I love your energy. Like my nephew, Briano. Boom, 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 boom. And guess what? But it's solve a tennis ball that ends up in one spot, a very sharp point in the scoring spot all the time.
Man, thank you, Craig. And I want to combine a little bit of what you said and what Bobby said as well, right? About like what we're able to do with this now, like what Bobby was saying too about saturating like social media and saturating different places. Here's the reality, guys. We have a saying in our slides. I'm actually going to bring these slides up. Because guys, I talked a little bit about at the beginning about this. Let me see, where is this slides at? Which slide? My favorite slide. I know. Here we go. Guys, every person here will have a decision that you will have to make. Right now, we are in decision mode. We are all defined by the decisions we make, right? Decide to learn AI now or decide to stay the same. Decide to stay the same. Here's the reality. Create or watch. You will either create massive amounts of content that's highly targeted, create mass amounts of lead, create mass amounts of opportunity, or you will watch somebody else do it, right? You will either create or you will watch, or I like to say a creator or a hater. Which one are you going to be, guys? You will differentiate or die. Guys, AI is coming. It's coming fast. And there are agents out there, especially with what we're doing too. And we're clearly showing people how to differentiate themselves from everybody else. It's them and then everybody else. Asset or liability. We'll use AI as an asset or it'll become a liability. And my favorite one right here, take over or stay the same. Here's... When you say it's saturating the marketplace, you would think so, wouldn't you, Bobby? That everybody, since this is out there, that everybody would do it, that everybody would go out here. Clearly, they should be doing it. But how many people leave a mastermind with all these grand ideas and the next week they're staying and they're doing the same fucking thing that they were doing before the mastermind, right? They leave. I'm going to change my life. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And then a week later, they're back to being the same freaking person. Sorry for dropping the F-bomb here. But here's the reality, guys. Most people will stay the same. Even presented with this amazing opportunity, they'll stay the freaking same. You have to make a decision. Will you take over? And then every week, will you take over again? The biggest companies in the world, what do? They stay in front of you all the time. How many emails does Amazon send you every freaking day? Right? How about you guys? I get 5 emails from Amazon at least a day. I count them. Why is real estate any different? The person who tells you send 1 email a month to your database, they're going to lose. Why? Because one of my people that I train is going to send them 20 in that month. Here's the reality, guys. Well, I mean, let's put in the chat. I want to see this, guys. How many leads do you have in your database? And I'm talking that big number, past clients, current clients, leads, nurtures. That big number do you have in your CRM right now? Put in the chat how many people you have there. I'm going to wait to see what some of these numbers are. 10,000. Boom. 10,000 people in a database. 10,000, 7,400. Every person, 12,700, 750. Every person on this call has a referral that they were losing out on because you're afraid to send them more than one email a month. Because you're afraid to send them more than one email a week. What if they unsubscribe? Guess what? People in my email campaigns have 3 options. 1, you're going to love what I'm sending you, right? I'm going to send you a lot and you're going to love what I'm sending you. 2, you're going to unsubscribe. Or 3, you have no idea who I even am. And I refuse to be that 3rd one. Most leads out of all those leads that you guys are putting in there don't even know who the frick you are. Why? Because we refuse to send them emails. And I get it. The generic campaigns that people put together before are crap. But now you have a way with ChatGPT to write exact copy, exact emails, and send it out to your entire database. What's the worst they're going to do? Unsubscribe? It's like getting a no over the phone. I actually started in this business as an ISA. I called 15 hours a day, 8 a.m. on the East Coast to 8 p.m. on the West Coast. I used to call in a Southern accent. So I'll be like, hi, this is Nick. Like I had to slow down and call in a Southern accent. It was bad, but it worked. But here's what I know. If I would have stopped after the first no, I would have been done after like 5 minutes, right? Email's the same way. Getting to unsubscribe is just like somebody telling you no. If you're not getting any unsubscribes, you're doing something wrong. You have to get no's to get yeses.
Quick question then, I guess one of my quick questions then, obviously this is awesome stuff. You're teaching me stuff here. Is your number one avenue for using the knowledge that you generate or you leverage with AI? Is it really that you're targeting it through email? Is that what you guys are doing? Or is it more through Facebook or what are you using this knowledge for? Or real briefly, obviously we only got 8 minutes left, but
yeah. If it's just you, do the avenues that you're most comfortable with, right? Don't try and take over everything. If you have an admin, there's no excuse for not running ads to lead campaigns, to emails, to text messages, to Facebook, to Instagram, to LinkedIn, because now, like before an admin, I can't expect any admin to learn my brand, to know the real estate market, to know how to write content and be a master copywriter. That's 5 different positions. And I used to have all 5. We actually let go of over 70% of our staff because of this. But now you can train your AI, who you're speaking to, who you're marketing to. Now, if they're trained correctly, they can go on there, write me a Facebook ad. Now write me the first 5 emails after that Facebook ad. Now write me the first 3 text messages that should go out after that Facebook ad. Now put these people in a campaign and they can come up with all that in about a half hour, right? So like for me, if you have an admin or a marketing director and they're not using this, fire them or train them. 2 options, right? Because if they're not, you're wasting money and they're wasting time. But what I would say is if it's just you, the least you should be doing is sitting down once a month and creating all of your content and creating all of your emails for the month. And you can do that in a day if you train it correctly. And then just have it run for you. I would say master the places that you're at before you start trying to master everything, right? And with that being said,
good advice.
And with that being said too, everybody always try, like when they leave a mastermind, I recommend everybody here does this. This is the first thing you should do. Make a stop doing list, right? Because if I ask people on this call, who here has spare time? You would laugh. I see some like, I feel people laughing through the call. In real estate, who has spare time? Make a stop doing list and then add some of this AI to the plate. Man, I'll tell you what, no, there's a lot of great things you can do with it. But yeah, email is a big one because look, you have 12,000 people who have raised their hand at some point wanting to buy or sell. Nail that list. One of the best things that we always did when I was in an ISA company is we'd send out a survey. First thing we'd always do at every person's database. Hey, are you looking to buy or sell? Hey, we want to do a quick survey. Are you looking to buy or sell in 0 to 3 months, 3 to 6 months, 6 months to a year plus? People love sharing their opinion. Out of 12,000 people, you get 100 people who filled it out. Some people said 0 to 3 months. Shit, got to call them, right? And then you kind of, great way to do that.
Brian.
Love that.
you-
Brian's
Yeah.
been raising his hand very
Yeah.
nicely, and I want to make sure I get to him. Yeah.
Thank you. No, Nick, I want to, Bobby said some things that made me think about this, and I wanted to get your comments on this. So if I'm on this video right now, I'm watching it later, I'm either a new agent or I'm a team leader. I'm a rainmaker or I'm a new agent, right?
Yeah.
I would suggest that you practice your scripts, because we don't have this on the street in our brain when we're walking around, when we're at an open house, when we're doing our networking, right?
Not
So-
yet, not yet.
Not yet. So my comment here, and I'd love to hear how you've been doing this or see other people do this, is that if I got back from a full day of door knocking or doing open houses, or I'm a team leader, my suggestion would be write down your biggest or top 5 objections, and then write those objections on how to internalize, how to respond to those in such a way that you can think on your feet to get out of the objection and convert it into an opportunity to set an appointment. Right? Because if you're in an event and somebody's grinding on you or asking you questions and the objections are common, how do I overcome that objection in 3 or 4 words? Really, the goal is to get away from that moment. You're gonna do malpractice on yourself if you try to answer everything. So what you want to do is convert the common objection handling into a script that allows you to say, you know, that's a really great question. Has anybody sat down and shown you, as an example, you know, what it takes to get your offer accepted in this market? Let's set an appointment. Like, use it for appointment setting skills, because team leaders, you know, you need to teach this, because these are your newer people, and their brains don't work very fast because they don't have the experience. But if you're brand new, this is how you would train yourself and write scripts that you could internalize and practice, and then use them and then rewrite them and train your objection handling script process. And I could imagine what kind of master objection handler you could become pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Is it?
I think one thing Karina said in the chat there, which is a really good point, is actually you can use ChatGPT to learn the most common objection and the best objection handlers before you even go out. So keep that in mind too, is that, you know, in this day and age, like Karina just said, there's no excuse for not knowing something. You can ask ChatGPT and it's going to be pretty darn close to always being right. Always verify it, obviously, but you can learn so much just by asking it, what are the common objections? What are the best objection handlers for that? And I think that would be a great way to build confidence in yourself, to overcome the fear of talking with people. And what if they'd say this? Well, then say this, right? That's what scripts are for, or, you know, objection handlers are for. I think that's a great idea.
Thanks.
Let's go.
Cool, guys. Well, Nick, man, you were awesome. You were absolutely a rock star. I think AI is super important. Obviously, it allows us to be more knowledgeable without us spending time actually learning about everything, which is impossible. Now, obviously, did you have more that you wanted to tell everyone? I know we're getting
Nick,
towards
if
the end here,
anybody
but I'd
wants
love
to get
hear
to
more
you.
about your.
If anybody wants to get to you for more stuff, I think Karina, you're in a Zoom or in a class with Nick.
I did a 1 week
Okay.
a certification course, and literally took me to heights I can't even tell you guys. And what I showed last week was just 3 itty bitty pieces over a whole week's worth of education and a test. And then I've signed up for another year with Nick. So I'm constantly on the cutting edge of everything he rolls out and his team figures out from R&D. If we find something interesting, we send it to Nick. He has his team look at it. If it's worthy of actually teaching and learning, he will roll it back out to us with special training. He has this amazing guy that I think is really an artificial bot in a human body. His name's Chad, and he's freaking fantastic. And now every Wednesday at noon, we have an hour with him where he'll answer extra questions. But if you're stuck on something while you're going through training, you can actually just when you're on the evening course with Nick, going over everything and pumping us up and keeping us moving forward. Chad's on that call too, and he'll share his calendar with you. And he's not only fixed where my brain was all screwed up with something, but like he figured out how to fix my camera, and that's why I've been dark for so long. So like he's just a maniac. So seriously, it is, if you want to learn AI and you don't want to get left behind, the best course possible is literally Nick Krem's course, Krem AI. And it's because he keeps it simple up front and he teaches you the basics and then builds on the complexity from there. And so you can't, we would all like to run right out of the room, but you can't. And we would have all liked to be at Windows like 99.5, but we all had to start at Windows 95 and work our way up. And those that moved up with technology as technology was rolling out to us are the ones that really mastered more and were doing more for their business from the early 90s to current day than those that had waited until 2013 to get started. So I really feel like if you want to change your business, you really need to go take this certification course. It will change your entire path in your business and for yourself too. I use a lot of the stuff I've learned with Nick for personal things as well that have taken other businesses that I have off another running. So there it is, Nick.
I think you did a
what I
great
wanted
job.
to know.
And Nick did
Where
not
I
pay me
find
for
you?
that.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. And guys, I just put the link over there in the chat, and then I also gave you guys a coupon code $100 off. I know you guys asked me help out, like to show the group a little bit of love here. So I want to show you guys some love. You get $100 off, but it's $9.97 one time. Then you do the minus 100. But here's the reality, guys. You're going to have to learn AI somewhere. You will, period. You're going to have to learn how to do it somewhere. And like we said, choose to do it now and get ahead of the curve or be forced to do it later. And I'll just leave you guys with this. We don't just teach you about AI. We also give you the marketing differentiation. We created the world's very first AI certification. So you can become an AI certified agent. Show you guys how you can market yourself differently to everybody. Ask your clients, how would you like to be the first AI certified listing in the area? Well, what's that? That's a great question. I'll come over there and show you. It's all about, everything is all about what makes you different. We not only show you how to do it with AI, we show you how to do it with our marketing efforts as well. Let's go.
The luxury
Those are good
customers
stuff.
love AI. They
Yeah.
do.
Awesome, you guys. Well, Pete, you guys, any questions you have, buddy?
I'm blown away, Nick. I mean, it's unbelievable, all this technology and stuff, and you don't have to write it out. You don't have to write copy. It helps you with marketing, all these types of things. I know we're a little bit over. I mean, I almost want a part 2 of this so we can even dive deeper in it. I don't know if you'd be open to it, but thank you for the coupon and everything else. I think this was extremely helpful for everyone. You know, and I from the bottom of my heart, thanks for getting on, man. I love your energy. It's great.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I just realized I was only messaging the host and panelists the whole time. I was answering some people's questions and nobody saw any of it. But no, there's a link, guys. I just had to switch it to everybody here.
Okay, and the code is Davis.
Yeah, there you go.
Code is Davis. Must be his son.
No,
Davis.
I appreciate you having me on here too. I know you guys have an amazing group. I talked to Karina a good amount, so I appreciate you guys having me on here. I'm always open to talk about more and so many different tools and the accounts to be changed. And I'm open to you guys anytime you want me.
Nick, how do I get in touch with you personally? I have an opportunity for you.
Ooh, you have an opportunity for me here. Just all right.
Nick, you want me to pass info?
Screw it. There it is. There's my email, nickanddickkrem.com. Guys, if you want it, if you have questions, I'll either answer it. It might be a bot. Ooh, who knows? No, it'll probably be me. But yeah, but if you guys, oh man, Merlin, I know you talked about that last week.
I did.
Guys,
Hey,
if
have
you
the
are
panelists
not
use Merlin
using
this week?
this tool, you are insane. Merlin will save you hours every week. It is amazing. It's my new best friend. Merlin, how did that work? Yeah.
Is Merlin the one that answers all your emails?
Yeah.
And
so check this out.
LinkedIn and Instagram. And I think I'm dating Merlin now because I use them so much.
Merlin, just MERLIN.
Yes.
We started black. So here's just an example. They just sent me, it's like a marketing email, right? It's
Right.
literally right here. And no, I'm not interested. Thanks for reaching out, blah, blah, blah. Writes it. And like, it'll read your entire email, no matter how long it is. Or you can say like, yeah, I don't like that one. And then create. Let them down easy. Not interested. But here's a great thing. Let them down easy. But here's my favorite part. Like when you have like when somebody writes you an email that gets you like heated and you're angry, you can use Merlin to respond to them in a really nice way, telling them to say no or get out of here. Right. So I know in real estate, you can have emotional situations, especially with some lenders. You're like, all right, let's use Merlin. Right. Like just say no very nicely. But they need to get it done. So like, dude, it's an amazing tool. You can use it on YouTube. So on YouTube, it summarizes 2-hour-long videos in about 30 seconds. And it gives you all the talking points from it. There's so many things you can do with it.
It's awesome. It's Merlin, MERLIN, correct?
I believe so. Yeah, actually, I got another link for you guys on that one. Yeah, I know you guys are over time, so I don't want to keep taking up your guys' time here, brother.
I just want to throw it in here so everybody's got it. You know what I mean? So somebody asked, how do we get Merlin? Is it Merlin.ai or is it Merlin.com?
Boom, right there.
Get Merlin. Okay. Chrome extension. Okay, that's where it is.
Yep.
All right, awesome. Thanks, buddy. All right, so Nick ripped it up. Good luck this weekend, everybody's teams. My Patriots come back alive this weekend. We'll see you guys next week. Invite your friends to this mastermind. I don't care what company they're with. We're slinging nuggets. Brian Yarbers, we got him finally out of Montana. Look, he's back in place, rocking and rolling. So, Nick, thanks again, man. Great job. Thanks, Corinna.
Appreciate
Thank you,
guys.
Nick.